morning, Peter.
Morning, Dan.
Now, DB Schenker, as you were saying earlier, is relatively new in this space, and there may still be a few people out there who are less familiar with the brand. Perhaps if you might begin with an introduction to the company and your role within it.
Yeah, very much so. DB Schenker is one of the largest global transportation and logistics providers. But in terms of the pharmaceutical space, we've principally concentrated on our air and ocean capability in the past. At the start of January 2012, we took a decision to move more deeply into contract logistics, and hence I was appointed to head up a new global contract logistics development team specifically for the healthcare sector.
So how exactly has that been implemented? What kind of changes has it made to the business?
Well, it's meant that we've had to go out into the market and look for people who understand the pharmaceutical market. We've done quite a large-scale recruitment program across globally in terms of covering major regions in terms of APAC, Europe, and the Americas.
And so you were also talking earlier about the practical collaboration between the customer and the provider, which is actually something not always spoken about when people talk about collaboration. They often talk about across the supply chain itself and the logistics people and the manufacturers, but not necessarily on the customer side. So maybe you could provide some more detail in that regard.
Yeah, I think in terms of some of the presentations at this event, some of the best value I've seen is where you get a provider or a service provider jointly presenting with a customer on a successful collaboration, because what you get is a very practical example of how they went about that collaboration, warts and all, and what you also see is the way in which they were able to measure that success. And I think those practical examples help us more from the service provider's point of view to understand what it is the customers want when they go into these collaborations.
So are we seeing then a much more liquid approach, I suppose, and a much more fluid approach to supply chains, that people are trying to develop them more with everyone in mind rather than simply cost in mind?
Yeah, and the requirements have changed as well. So the more specialized requirements rather than just moving bulk product means that the relationships are different between the service providers and the customers, the pharma companies themselves.
And I know that people have been talking about dealing with complexity issues and agility issues, and there have been quite a lot of challenges in that regard, particularly with more and more volatility. What approach are you taking?
Rather than trying to be everything to everyone, I think we're very much taking the view that we leverage our local strengths. So in those parts of the world where we have true capability and knowledge, we really make that very obvious, and we don't spread that too thinly and concentrate our activities into those locations and those specialities where we feel we can really do the best possible job.
So obviously this is a new line for you, a new market for you. What are your top priorities and what have been your top challenges?
We have an obvious challenge around building the infrastructure that we require, and there's a lot of attention being given to that. But I think more than anything it's finding the quality people. It's a very competitive marketplace, and we really want people with the right knowledge and experience that can help us move forward in this space. So that probably is the number one challenge right now, is finding the right people.
Well, thank you very much for the time. You may well have heard in the background the bell is going. It might be time for the next panel session, so thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.